So we'll start with the Guru Yoga one time. So welcome everybody. So we are probably from many countries, I suppose. Right now here we are in the middle of not the middle of, actually the end of our fall retreat here at the Serenity Ridge, and it has been a wonderful experience. The weather has been incredibly beautiful. The wonderful practices we have been doing with the nature, with the elements, visiting to the river, making fires, feeling earth, just been wonderful experiences with the elements. So, and I know many of you have been here, but also probably many of you have not been here. So hope that in near future that whenever the opportunity comes, most welcome to visit here at Serenity Ridge and to experience the beauty, the nature, and the sacred space here. So I welcome you all. So this session of the practice, I would like to just kind of a little bit, main thing is what we're going to do is just going to practice. I will do a little guided practice and in relation to the 5 elements which we have been doing here. So before we begin everything, I am sure that everybody from all over the world and have different situations in your life. So first of all, before we begin the practice, just let's forget about everything. Okay. Just forget about all your problems, all the issues, all the works which has not been done, all the things that you're planning to do, all the things which did not go right, all the the conversations you're having with somebody and you're continuously having with somebody, and with all the thoughts. Just for a moment, just forget about everything. For a moment, let's just feel connection in this cyber space that which we are in, that we are all connected this moment from many countries around the world, many people in this moment. So just Just bring your attention to this huge cyberspace, the unbounded space in which we are all connected right now. Just feel that a little bit. The power of connection with that space, the power of connection with each other, beyond time and space. The connection is fully present. Let's bring our attention to this connection. Just for a moment. Sit comfortably, close your eye, bring your attention to that place that we all feel this connection. So in this moment, there's a deep stillness in our body. Feel it. Rest in that stillness. Listen and hear. There's a deep silence around and within us in this moment. Rest in it. There is a deep spaciousness, openness in our heart. Be aware of it. And rest in that openness. Don't try to rest, but realize the resting, it's already there. Be aware of it. In this deep resting, be aware of inner earth element, stability, the groundingness, centeredness, connectedness. And feel like if you are visiting the most powerful earth element place in the nature. When you're sitting on the earth, feeling connection to the earth. The power of connection to the Mother Earth. Externally, internally. By completely being open, allow the earth element to nourish you. By being aware of that essence and the qualities of earth internally and externally. As long as you're aware and you're connected to that quality, you're nourishing yourself, nourishing your inner being. So not lose the connection, rest in that connection and allow to nourish your inner being for the moment. In that inner resting, in that stillness, silence, and spaciousness, feel the connection to the water element. Bring into conscious your connection to the sacred water, the lake that you know, the rivers that you know, ponds that you know. Just feel them. Internally, trying to connect with that water element by feeling ease and comfort in that boundless space, in this very moment. And right now, here, in this connection that we all have this moment, just feel that ease, sense of comfort. Like sitting next to the beautiful, calm lake, and feeling the energy of the water. In that deep resting, feel the fire element. Just imagine, remember the fire element in your life, sacred fire, ceremonies, fire that you make at home, the volcanoes. Just feel connection to that outer fire element in the nature. Feel that connection with the fire inner heat, the warmth, that joy, that enthusiasm, that vitality quality in that vast space. Feel that fire in inner space. Feel that fire in that collective space, in this connection that we're all feeling right now. Allow the fire. Connect with that fire. Allow that fire, that warmth to nourish your inner being. Allow it to nourish your body. Allow it to nourish your particular part of your body if you have pain, sickness. Allow it to warm and heal if there is pain in relationship. trust in that space, rest in that space, allow the fire to merge from the resting space. In that resting place, trying to be aware of the wind element. Just be aware of the exposure of the external wind. Feel that wind, remember that wind in the nature. Be aware of that wind, the clear, pure movement in this unbounded space within. The wind which allow us to move, grow, develop, feel free, transform. Allow that wind. That sense of liberation, sense of freedom, sense of flexibility, sense of changeable, movable. Allow us to move from that place where we feel stuck. Spiritually not developing, feeling stuck. In relationship not deepening, feeling stuck. Professionally not feeling creative enough, not feeling it's not moving anywhere, not developing. Allow the wind to clear those blockages. By experiencing that clear movement, sense of flexibility, the wind element within, in that unbounded space, in that deep resting place. Feel that wind. Allow that wind to move. Expand that wind. So allow that outer wind element and inner wind element to nourish your inner being, nourish your body. In that inner stillness, silence, and spaciousness, in this moment that we are all feeling connection with this unbounded space, feel this presence of so huge space. And also this cyberspace. It's just vast, boundless, beyond time, beyond space. Just trying to be conscious of that. When you're aware of that space, it frees your mind from the limitations. So imagine you are in this vast sky. In fact, we are in that vast sky. Feel that. Connect with that. At the same time, internally, feel that space element. Allow this space element to nourish our inner being with the qualities of confidence, strength, power in our body, in our mind. Allow it to expand out in our life through our body and our mind, our relationship with others, to work, to the world, to the nature. Okay. So I would like to say a few words about practicing in the nature. So in all of our life, so whenever you have a little bit the possibility to practicing in the nature, so I would strongly recommend to go out in the nature, sit as long as you can, even like 5-10 minutes, sit with the nature, feel the earth, water, fire, air, space. Look at the nature as a teacher, a transmitter from whom you can receive the knowledge, transmission, qualities. But when you sit with them, sit with clear mind. Because sometimes we go in the nature and so much occupied our mind, so much anxiety, fear, mind is wandering all the time. When that happens, even though nature has so much to give, but we are not capable of receiving anything because all these thoughts interferes it. So I would strongly recommend to trying to anytime, even a short moment that you have opportunity, just trying to go out in the nature and just sit. So when you sit out in the nature, also at the same time feel these quality, all the qualities are presence in ourself. That inner earth is in ourself, that water is in ourself, the fire is in ourself. So all these inner sacred elements are present in us any given moment. The best way to connect with that is to feel that space first, that in that space, and then trying to be conscious and aware of each single inner essence of quality. And that very moment when you're aware of each quality, you are nourishing yourself with that elemental quality. So if you're taking a lunch break, maybe if you wanted to miss a lunch and just nourish with the inner element, it's better than taking lunch. So have lunch and take time to nourish with that both. So this is of course this is just a very simple and beautiful practice. I would recommend also those you are familiar and then that trying to learn a little bit more with the healing with the form, energy and light, which is very much practices of elements. And those you don't know, and I would recommend to trying to read that book, Healing with the Form, Energy and Light, and also which has been translated into many languages. So maybe now I leave a little more time for some question and some answers. So if anybody has some questions, please go ahead. Paul, you want to say something? Anything?
We have consistently 275 people watching.
How many?
There's now 285, but around 475 consistently, and from all over the place. We have here Russia, Brazil, France.
We have places from Russia, Brazil, France, Holland, Italy, Belgium, Czech Republic, Costa Rica, Mexico. Okay, so so it's wonderful to just to able to. I hope that all of you have experienced that cyber collective space. We all talk about always space. So this is the space that in right now, this very moment, that we are all connected. So the connections are there, but if you are aware of that connection, then you feel the power. So it's just that there need to be a little bit intention to be aware of, just kind of feeling that. Then you feel that. Yeah. Any questions?
No questions yet.
Okay. That's fine.
Maybe you want to share a little bit more about what we did at the retreat?
Sure. So as probably as people begin to ask some questions, I'll just say a few words. I would strongly recommend everybody and all the sanghas around the world, and so I think in this challenging moment, all this moment where so many changes are happening, I think one of the best way to find a support is to be strong within yourself. So find that strength within yourself. Obviously, you can always find help from the teacher, from sangha members, from family, friends. All the resources are there, but I think the most important thing is to find that inner strength and support within yourself. So find that support, and with those strength, then trying to engage a little bit more with the practices as much as possible. And right now, there's so much resources that are available, so I think just take advantage of that, to use those resources, connect with those resources. Then our sangha members around the world, there are many different places. There's the practice groups, so I would strongly recommend trying to make these practice groups in the sangha as part of your life, and primarily to help oneself. So because you really need support, you really need some connections, and trying to find elsewhere is very difficult. It's important to find where you live. So sometime when there is, trying to find that. When there is not, also you can try to make your own way of supporting your practice. Find some people and generate some interest, inspiration, some creativity there. So there's always opportunity. 20 years ago, when I first time came here, I did not have any sangha member to practice with. So after 20 years, I've created enough place to practice every week for myself. So I think the same way, that find that strength and find that place that your practice, spiritual life can be more alive.
There's a couple of questions. One is, should we connect with each of the elements with some special place in our body, physically?
So the question is it possible to, is there any particular places for in a location in the body to feel has a relation with the element and the specific part of the body? So I would recommend to read the element book. Yes, the association of the elements to the organs, association with the elements to the chakras, association to the elements to the different parts of the, like limbs, like hand, legs, head. So basically the 5 element is related to every part of our body. So which part of our body needs more healing, so you can emphasize that way. So I would recommend again to look at the healing with the form, energy and light.
That's an interesting question. I ride horses for 1 to 3 hours a day in the wide woods around my home. Is it good to do these practices while I'm doing this meditative activity? And what about while walking in nature? So doing these practices while in activity.
Yeah. So the question is, while walking in the nature. So the question is the practicing element with the activity of the life, right? So, but yeah, obviously, of course, you can do that. So particularly if you're walking in the nature, if you're sitting in the nature, if you're interacting with the nature, if you're gardening, So if you're digging the ground, if you're planting something, if you're watering the plant. Yes, so for sure there's a connection with the nature. So whenever you have this opportunity, when you're touching the nature, feeling the nature, doing something with the nature, being in the nature, sitting in the nature, it's happening there. But unless a special awareness of the element practices is brought in, the practice is not as strong. So when you're aware of that, then in each of these connection is not just a connection, but there are certain inner psychological or spiritual quality that you can enhance. For example, let's say you are lying down on the ground, on the earth, bare feet. You're connected with the earth. People do that. People take a rest and lie down there. But if you bring the awareness of connection to the Mother Earth, that sacredness of the Mother Earth, that the wound of the Mother Earth, the healing need to the Mother Earth, the exchange of quality need to do with the Mother Earth, that you can receive, you can give. So unless all this awareness is there, it's not going to be a very powerful practice. But when there is this awareness, then that moment of your relation just lying down in the earth is completely different. So obviously, yes. So every time when you have access, when you're connection with the nature, there's a lot of opportunity to practice. Yeah.
Here's somebody who says, in a busy city, it's often hard to connect to the elements in a subtle way. How can we do that more strongly in the city?
So question is, in a busy city, so not easy to do the element practice. Well, get out of the busy city every now and then. If somebody is in a prison, you have the security guards around you, and you cannot go out. Then it's harder to get out. But if you're not that, then get out of the city every now and then, as much as possible. Learn to be brave, to be in the nature. So take time to do that. I think that's the most important. Just take time. Even in the city, sometimes there's a small parks. So just go out there, just sit in front of one single tree. Sit with that single tree. Feel that tree. So I think there's always opportunity there. So I think it's just make priority and take advantage and trying to, work through that. Yeah.
There's a few related questions. Someone asks, can we focus on one element, or should we always focus on all 5 elements in this practice? Somebody says, if someone has too much fire energy, for example, should that person skip the fire element during practice? Is it possible to get an overdose of one element?
Okay, so the first question is, should one do all 5 elements, or can do with one element? So of course you can do with all 5 elements, you can do also with one element. So depends on what your needs is, how much time you have. Generally it's good to do all the 5 elements, and if you don't have time, you do that one element that you need the most, or you need healing with the most quality, to work with that element. So the second question is, can I do a little bit too much of the fire element, for example, one element? Well, in generally speaking, it's not that we have too much of fire. It's more like we don't have a healthy fire. So the healthy fire will be enough balance with the rest of the element. So somehow it's a question about, it's not one is more or less so much. It's more like are they all balanced with each other enough? So trying to so in some sense, if you feel like you have too much fire, then maybe just kind of work with trying to balance that with the water. For example, let's say somebody who is having so much fire, that means very active, very always into action or something like that. But maybe sometime you are so much into action, you are so much into doing things, but there is no sense of calmness. There is no sense of stillness in that action. So action is not too much, but absence of that stillness in that action, it's not good. So you want to bring more stillness in the action rather than trying to, kill your fire. You don't want to kill your fire. You want to bring a balance in that fire. So you have the fire, but feel peace in that fire. Feel joy in that fire. Feel comfort in that fire. Feel ease in that fire. So then fire is good. Agitation, it's not really a good fire. It looks like a fire, but it's not a fire. It's lacking those qualities. People, for example, people who are very workaholic people, very often they have a lot of fire to do what they're doing, but they lack that water quality in that fire. So how you know? So everything what you do, if it is stressed out, it has a stressing you out, then it's not a good sign. Everything what you do, if it gives you more energy when you do things, it's a very good sign. You have a good fire. So just check with that.
Here's a question. Mafia Shanske says, what does it mean to meditate with a clear mind?
So the question is, what it means to meditate with a clear mind. I think that is the answer. Clear mind basically means no thoughts, no conflicts, no pain, no planning, no disappointment, just clear mind. Like a clear sky, no clouds. So the sun shines very clear. You say clear, that's what clear mind means,
Someone asked, how to heal from anger, what do we focus on?
So the question is to heal from the anger. So anger is the manifestation as a result of lack of love, or the experience of love is not very strong, experience of the presence of warmth in your life, in your heart, in your relationship is not very strong. And the reason why there is not so much warmth, love, and that these qualities in your life or in relationship is because there is lack of space. So the space element is recommended in order to overcome anger, in order to feel the warmth, in order to experience love. Yeah.
Someone asks, can we send the energy of a certain element to another person?
Yeah. So the question is, can we send specific elemental quality to other people? I think yes, you can, and I think that one should. In some way, giving in the Dharma is way to receive more. So you never lose by giving here. So for example, first, like a space, if you feel space in yourself, like when you feel like openness in yourself, and you feel like in that space you feel free, you feel okay, you feel comfort, you feel confidence, you feel those qualities in you because you feel that space in you. So then it's a good idea to think about, I wanted to dedicate this virtuous quality of wisdom of emptiness, wisdom of awareness. So when you think that, not only just visualize, like sometimes we do like, okay, now I sense that space, awareness to those people or something. Of course you can do that also, but also trying to sometimes do actively. For example, in your life, space is very interesting, I think probably one thing that in every relationship, either it's a couple's relationship, brother sister, father and mother, parents relationship, friends relationship. In every relationship, sometimes one thing which we miss most to give each other is that space, that openness. So it's not like saying, I have this space, you take it. No. What does the space means? The space means sometimes your child have wish. As a parent, you have a problem with that wish. Child is asking space, and you have a problem giving that space. Or your wife is asking space. I don't know, some space does not always means it doesn't always mean about doing something. Sometimes it could mean that sometimes one person in a relationship is not fully happy, going through inner crisis, or going through some inner grief, pain, and you don't interfere that person doing that. Not get mad because your wife is not so happy today. You give that space to her to feel what she wanted to feel that day. She's asking that space. So there's many ways and many forms in which somebody wants space from you. And in relationship, very often one thing we lack is ability to give that space to others. I think it will be a great practice that we all learn how to give that space and many forms of space to somebody whenever you are feeling a little more space in yourself. When you feel a little bit more space yourself, when you think about, look at who needs your space, in which form they need your space. Look at that, and when you're trying to give it that, you will feel so good by able to give that. You will see so beautiful in somebody's eye, able to receive somebody is able to receive that from you. And that joy, that experience, encourages your space, strengthens your space, stabilizes your awareness of your space. It gives so much value to that awareness of the space. In real world, not only just sitting on the cushion. You're sitting on the cushion and suddenly somebody makes a little noise, you're completely angry at somebody. You have to give a little space for somebody else to make a little noise. Your space is gone. Your space is that weak. And you ever thought, maybe it's okay, I give a little space for that person to make a little noise. It's always about space. Yeah.
Well, Anne-Marie says, she asked this a little bit before, but she says, speak to us more about the space element. And what is meant by this as an element? Space itself.
So somebody asking a question about, please say a little bit more about space element, as I am saying space element. So, that every existence in the universe, every existence in our body, they all are interaction and interrelationship. They come out of interrelationship through interdependency, through interaction, through causal relationship. But none of those can take place unless there is a space. So I think space is the greatest form of healing. Two countries, if they feel enough space between each other, enough space for certain things in their religious belief, in their philosophical belief, in their differences, they won't be going to the war. Two people, they will not fight if they give enough space for their differences. To religion, they will not kill each other. Cells in our body, same thing. If there was a space, they won't be fighting so much with each other. Our emotion is the same thing. All the struggles that we have, every single struggles, every single stress, experience of stress that we have, if there was more space there won't be those cells of stress. There won't be those negative emotions. Every conflict, so basically in some sense that space element is really like the base of all event and manifestations. So space element is probably most important, most sacred element whatever exists.
Mary Skywalker says, I'm surrounded by a lot of suffering at the moment, not in myself but in others, but it is affecting my energies. Can you offer a recommendation?
Yeah. So, question about that a lot of sufferings is going around oneself, but even though you're not feeling in yourself, so what I recommend, again, same principle. The need to protect yourself from all the sufferings going around you, even though you're not feeling particularly similar kind of suffering. It's lack of space. Because sometimes in our mind, there's certain expectations that people, like some sense of some space for, the sickness, some space for death, some space for changes. A little more space for those events. It's necessary in order to not to be affected. We say space, awareness of the space in a deep sense is the best source of confidence. When you go inside yourself, when you feel that inner sky, when you feel that confidence in that changelessness, that indestructible space inside yourself, when you gain some sense of confidence from that place, that confidence should be able to help you dealing with all the changes and sufferings around you. So you turn your face direction toward that inner confidence in which you can find in that inner space is the direction. That is the refuge. So one need to take that refuge in that unbounded space, connect with that space, feel confidence in that space, then deal the world of suffering with that confidence and host the world in that indestructible space so that it will not be affected. If you don't have a less access and connection to that, we are just connected with our fear, and we are always thinking about fear, connecting with our fear, sleeping with our fear, eating with our fear, talking with our fear, and then it's very difficult to deal with these sufferings around us. So I would recommend that, just trying to find that confidence in that inner refuge.
Sounds like you may have answered these questions. One person says, how can I heal the stress and anxiety? Another person says, how can I make or keep my mind clear? There's so many thoughts coming up. Should I take a break from meditation?
Break from meditation or break from thought?
Should I take a break with the meditation?
A break with the meditation.
Yeah, I don't know what the question is. How can I make or keep my mind clear as so many thoughts come up?
Okay, so question is how I can keep my mind clear. Okay. Yeah, so it's a good question. So first recognize, that the moment when the mind is not clear, it's like this. What happens there? In your life, maybe there is a situation, there's some stories, whatever the story is, and the mind is looking at the story saying, oh, it's not good. So mind is saying, oh, this situation is not good, these people are not good, or it might be not good. So the mind, the way it's drawing attention to that situation, is creating that unclarity. So this mind, it should know not to draw too much attention to this situation, because there's something wrong with the vision of this mind. It does not see things very clear. Wherever it looks a problem, it sees a problem. It's like a filter. If you have a very unclear glass, you look at wherever you look, you see unclear. Maybe not so much wrong with where you're looking at it, but your glasses have some problem. So until you can change your glasses, nothing is going to work. So what you're trying to do is trying to look, what we say, looking or feeling that stillness in your body. So the mind stays still, listening to that silence, so the mind feels that peaceful. Being aware of that spaciousness, mind changes its lens. So when you feel that stillness, silence, spaciousness, now you have a different glasses, a new glasses. So first trying to change the glasses, and then if you change the glasses, then it might be good to look at the same situation. Then you can realize the situation is not a problem, your glasses was a problem. Because unless you look one time to those situations, you in your deep inside you always believe, oh, that this situation was terrible, because you have never experienced in different ways. So it's always important to look once back again to the same situation with the new glasses, just only one time, with confidence. Yes, it was not the situation, it was my glasses problem. Then you never have to look it back again. So that's one way of clearing the thoughts. Okay, maybe one more last question.
First, Mary Skywalker said she's the one who said she's surrounded by suffering and it was affecting her. She said, "Thank you, Rinpoche. I cried as you spoke, and I really felt some pain in my heart dissolve." Thank you. Someone asked, "Do I need to get transmission for the practices from the book Healing with Form, Energy, and Light, or is it enough to have the Dzogchen transmission to do those practices?"
Question about the transmission, about the healing with the form, energy, and light. So the books are there. So I think maybe for sure, as in the book we mentioned, that it's important to if you read the book, if it makes sense, if you really feel the heart connection with the message, and if in some way you are living kind of that life, then if you wanted to make it really part of your life and the practice, then of course I would recommend to receive the transmission at some point whenever the opportunity is there. But meanwhile, you can go on and doing the practice, and then just set that intention that whenever opportunity arises, I want to receive the transmission. Okay.
There's many words of thanks here. People saying, "Thank you for sharing this. I'll try to practice as long as I can. Thank you so much, Rinpoche. I feel nourished by you." From Saarbrücken, Germany, Diamonds of Wisdom. Thank you, Rinpoche. So many.
Yeah. So just a few words of conclusion. As maybe many of you know, that I'm trying to take the advantage of the internet, and also the students who are supporting here, trying to do that. So this is not only every now and then, but we are doing regularly this webcast. So how many times we do? Like at least 4 times, right? More than that. 8 times a year. At least 8 times a year we do these webcasts. So which is quite a lot. So it really like no matter where you are, and you people can be benefited. So what I like to see also the effort that I put here, or effort that students who put here, that to have maximum benefit of these the efforts that we all put together here to do this, and which is that we want more people to benefit from that. So, and from our side, we are trying to do the best way. We are trying to let everybody know, but everybody is busy. they need 10 reminder to do one good thing, and they don't need any reminder to feel pain or to feel fear or something like that. So it's always like so much reminder is needed. And so I want everybody who really feel the benefit from the webcast teaching, and who are frequently, if you are on the webcast teaching, I want you to take, each one of you to take some personal initiative of saying, okay, I'm going to do something. At least what are you going to do? What I'm asking you to do is simply, okay, I know 3 people in my life who would very much love to hear that. And so there is no one who can help except you, who knows those 3 people and who knows this webcast. So the link between this webcast and those 3 people is the only person, it's you. And you do take part of the responsibility action. Say, I'm going to make sure those people know, and we will all somehow, not only I'm going to participate with this big group of practice together, but also I know there's a smaller, closer group. We're also connecting that day together with the practice. So I would like to see that initiative from each one of you. So anytime when we send out the information out, so I want just you to remember, we'll remind you, but you try and remember to also let everybody else know. So if the more people find out and more people do this thing, we will do from 8 to 10 to 15 to 20 to we will do more frequently these things. So as long as I have a support, I'm completely committed to do, willing to give my time and energy to do whenever. So we will work with everybody else's energy around here, and we'll do as much as possible, so that there is a really sense of support here. And cyber community, it's not only a cyber, we always have teaching, we are connected to each other, but in some sense there's another way to connect, and in your own space. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. So in order to make this connection stronger, to expand this connection, so I would like everybody to participate with that. Yeah.
Could you also remind John Jackson is
Yeah.
the workshop starting on the 15th of October for 7 weeks.
Can you write down there also?
Yeah, I'll write it
Okay.
down. I can find it
And
on
then
the website, yeah.
So Polly is just reminding me, so in our Ligmincha learning, Ligmincha Online Learning Center, so John Jackson is leading this the element practice retreats on the 15th of October.
Yeah, begins then.
And so these informations are on our website, and also the glide wing, they are quite frequently also in the glide wing, the workshops and online. Again, I'm talking to those people who have lived very, very far away, not able to attend retreat and teachings like that. So there's these 2 online, until now there's a 2 online programs quite regularly goes on. So this is another opportunity to connect. Okay, is that all?
Just many more beautiful thank yous for people.
Okay, so thank you everybody. So again, it's wonderful. So we dedicate this all merit that we have accumulated here to all the sentient beings and people, especially people who need it most this time in the moment. Kusum tabi gewa kanji kanzo simje namje tenwa tusum sabi lede kunjane kusum zobe sanje nyor to sho.